quickly share my screen. So that's our very nice logo. So I thought I'd just start with, can everyone see my screen? Rafi, is it good?
You look good.
Great.
I mean, the screen.
So everyone, I'm sure, has seen this. I guess we're almost done with those 900 days. But the reason I bring up the transformation mission is because the greenhouse was actually born from the transformation mission. From these two very important guiding principles. We start small, we fail fast, or we scale fast, and we really live by those words in Ibtikar and in the greenhouse in general when we're piloting our startups. And startups will be our allies. We work very closely with internal and external startups from all over the world that are doing innovative things in retail. So we really live by these two guiding principles, and this is the reason why the greenhouse was born. So why did we open the greenhouse? Because we don't want to be Kodak, who got killed by the digital camera and digital photos. We don't want to be Blockbuster, who was killed by Netflix. We want to disrupt ourselves before we're disrupted by others, by other startups, by other businesses that are doing very innovative things. And sometimes you don't notice when it happens, but it happens very slowly. It's not a sudden, oh, Netflix is here and it killed Blockbuster. It was a slow process that killed them. So really the purpose of the greenhouse is what we like to say is to grow and unleash collective brilliance, to be able to disrupt ourselves. We like this collective brilliance can be between external entrepreneurs and our brand managers. It could be between our entrepreneurs and our organization. It could be between our entrepreneurs and our entrepreneurs. It could be between our entrepreneurs and the greenhouse team. There's a lot. We think that collaboration is really the key to unlocking innovation, and we really believe in it. So what do we do at the greenhouse? We've ran three different kind of streams. One is the Retail Technology Accelerator, where we partner with external startups who have innovative solutions to certain pain points that our businesses are facing. We bring them into the greenhouse from all over the world to pilot their solutions. We test them again, we test quickly, and we understand whether we want to scale them quickly or fail them quickly. We have KPIs for them. We see within the pilot period, have they been able to impact our business and create value for us? If they have, we sign commercial deals with them, and then we roll them out either to more stores within that brand or more brands in the network or more countries. So I'm sure I don't know if some of you have seen some Store DNA, which is in Saudi as well, started in the greenhouse. The OMS that everybody's speaking about, Retail Unity started at the greenhouse. The Brand Quad, which is a PIM, also started at the greenhouse. So there's a lot of solutions that we look at, and we try to accelerate basically testing those solutions in our organization and scaling them. What we're here to discuss today is really Ibtikar, which we are super proud of. The Ibtikar is our internal innovation lab where we offer employees the ability to test their disruptive business ideas. We give them access to funding, we give them dedicated time off to really focus on developing the idea into a business, and we give them mentorship and access, and we'll get into a lot more detail. The third thing we do is really this community building and this culture aspect of the greenhouse, which is running workshops, hackathons, speaker sessions. We do a lot of case studies and videos on what we're doing, and we put them on our website so a lot of people can see what we're trying to achieve and be part of the greenhouse. So what's in it for us? First and foremost, we always talk about this culture shift as part of the transformation. Our culture is super important. We want to become a more agile and entrepreneurial organization. And we hope to do that in the greenhouse and play our part in it by exposing the group to entrepreneurs, to startups, and to really get that cultural osmosis of how startups operate quickly, how they make decisions quickly, how they pivot quickly, and we really see that. We get whenever the startups are in the greenhouse and working with the brands, we see this contagious energy that comes from the startups go into the brands and really get them excited to work quickly and implement solutions. Of course, one of the biggest things and the most important is innovation. There are two types of innovation. There's the continuous improvement, where we're trying to strengthen our core business and improve our customer journeys through working with these external startups and even with Ibtikar. But we really in Ibtikar love the disruptive business models, these new business models that are going to be the future of retail. We want to be part of the future of retail. We want to create them ourselves. And so that's a very important reason why we have Greenhouse and Ibtikar. Of course, having access to this big network of startups and innovation, we are always have our finger on the pulse of what innovation trends are out there. And then a big part of it is this concept of talent recruitment and really talent retention. The Greenhouse is a magnet for talent. They see that it really positions us as a forward-thinking organization and an innovative organization. I know Aya, who's on the call, said to me once that that was one of the reasons she joined, which makes us so proud to hear that we were able to find talent like her, that we played a little part in that. But also we want to retain our talent, people who are entrepreneurial and who have these ideas. We think that this is like the perfect platform to be able to tap into that talent. So very quickly, the accelerator, some of the stuff we've done, we've worked with 17 startups so far for over 3 cohorts. We've worked with 9 different brands to do 16 proof of concepts and pilots with these startups. We've signed 15 deals so far, and we've had 1,000 people visit the Greenhouse. Obviously not recently, but in the past. Actually, this presentation was supposed to be live. Unfortunately, we couldn't come to Saudi now, but hopefully soon enough. So Ibtikar, the important part. Ibtikar, again, is our innovation lab. It's where we experiment and test ideas that come from entrepreneurs, people who are in our organization that have all these great ideas. We bring them into the Greenhouse for 3 months to test their ideas, 3 months in the beginning to test their ideas. We give them 20,000 in the beginning to test their ideas and to understand whether this idea gains traction or not. We also give them support, mentorship, and access to our network. More specifically, why would you join Ibtikar? Why should you join Ibtikar? What can we do for you? First and foremost, it's a risk-free way to experiment with your ideas. You still get your salary while you're at Ibtikar. Something that most entrepreneurs don't dream of is the ability to experiment with their ideas, but also to still make their salary. So to have that cushion, that's one big benefit of joining Ibtikar. Frictionless funding. If you go outside to start a business, one of the biggest time taken for entrepreneurs and founders is raising money. We obviously through the group fund these ideas if they are successful, and that frictionless funding is it's a big advantage of working with Ibtikar. You get us as your co-founders. As you saw, there's a team of very skilled and experts in entrepreneurship and in finance and in strategy. So we become your co-founders in this business, and you can tap into all the different people. We give you access to a group of partners that we've created over time. So we work with the Modern East, who I'm not sure you know, also sits in the Greenhouse. They create content for us. They work on media strategies. We work with tech developers who give us special rates for startups. We work with designers, etc. So we have a group of partners that we can tap into very quickly when we want to start testing the idea. Of course, mentorship, not just from internal, but also external experts if required. So if there is something that we assess that you need to speak to someone and that skill set doesn't exist in the group, we will try to find that skill set for you externally and bring that mentorship on. Financial planning, we have Joanne now, thankfully, who is a superstar in financial planning. She's not the only thing she's a superstar in, but she will also help us in budgeting, helping with growth. How do we grow? What kind of funding do we need to grow? And then of course, a big part of this, and not to be belittled, is the fact that you are part of Shalhoub Group. As a startup, typically that is not linked to a group, it's very hard to get credibility and get people to give you, to supply things to you, to be your customers. But just the fact that you're affiliated with the group also makes things a lot easier. And of course, as of last year, we've agreed that we will start giving equity to anyone who submits their ideas and gets funded by Ibtikar. And we can have those conversations later, but basically somewhere around 20 to 30% of the business becomes you are an owner of after you get funding. So how does it work? You submit an idea through EMAC or you just reach out to us directly. And then we shortlist, we look at the ideas, we either come back to you with questions or we push you a little to do a little bit more research, and then we shortlist the relevant ideas. We then, as a team, work with you on your pitch deck. You will then pitch to an advisory board. So it's not just the greenhouse team that selects the ideas and selects who gets funding and further funding. There's an advisory board we create of usually consisting of the GH team, some people from the transformation team, so Sharbel and Aya. We've recruited our first KSA specific advisory board member, who is Dujain. I don't know if she's on the call now. Anyway, so that Ibtikar KSA advisory board will decide on which ideas get selected and then which ideas get funded in the future. And then, of course, once the idea is selected, you can start the process, and I'll get into that now. So right now, we've opened up Ibtikar. Of course, I'd like to obviously point out that, and I'm sure there are some people who are quite frustrated with Ibtikar's process before. We didn't have any dedicated people. We thought we had a process that kind of, I think it let ideas fall through the cracks. We will now be, we'll eventually have someone who is focused on Ibtikar and KSA in KSA, but for now, all the ideas will come to our team directly, and our team will manage the process virtually from Dubai for now. But so we've opened up and we're already getting some ideas for Ibtikar KSA. Martial will be talking about a workshop he'll be holding in June, but we hope to select our first idea in June or July of this year for KSA and start the funding process. So fingers crossed, we're excited to get all of your ideas. So how does it work after you've been selected? We work with this lean startup and metered funding process, where we give you amounts and you unleash certain certain funding triggers happen after you've shown traction. The more traction you show, the more funding you get, the more time you get to work on your business. Why is this the way we've worked? We know that when you're starting a business, it reduces the risk. First of all, you can launch a lot faster if you don't wait to create the perfect product and put it out. You can also start to understand what the perfect product is from your customers specifically and iterate slowly on that. So you launch quicker, you understand quicker what your customers actually want, and you build the better product as you go. So how does it work? Once we select you, we, of course, for HR purposes, we have a transition period of 2 months where, one, we work with your HR team to make sure everybody in your organization knows and your department knows that you'll be moving to Ibtikar after 2 months. At that time, also, it's a great time for you to start working on your minimum viable product, which is your e-commerce site or whatever it is that you are proposing. So you have those 2 months where you work with us 1 day a week in Ibtikar to develop that MVP. Then you move full-time after those 2 months, you move full-time to Ibtikar, and you work on what we call the proof of concept phase. And at this point, your job is secured for you. So they cannot hire another person in your role in those 3 months. We work with you on testing your idea in those 3 months with the $20,000 that I said. And then at the end of the proof of concept phase, we then see your KPIs and what traction you've gotten, and if you've been able to prove to us that this is a concept that works. We don't look for millions of dollars of revenue, but we look for signs that show traction and customer demand, and that customers are willing to pay for what you're saying you want to do. At the end of the proof of concept phase, we again meet with the advisory board. You present to them what you've done. If you're selected to move forward, you get another $30,000 and another 3 months to work on your business. But at this point, you have to make the decision, because we can't keep your role open after it's been 5 months really at this point, forever. So you have to make the decision to leave your role and continue working on your idea, or say, okay, this is not for me, and you go back to your role. And it's an amazing entrepreneurship training for 3 months. Again, the decision could also be from the advisory board, where they say, actually, this is not working. It doesn't show enough traction. They could either say, you can pivot to this, let's try another thing, or they can say it's just not working, and you go back to your role. You have then the validation of concept, which is 3 to 4 months, again, where you get the $30,000. At the end of that, there's another trigger, and then you get to the growth phase, which is $50,000. And in each one, we have different KPIs that we look for. After the $50,000, it stops being a finite amount of funding. We build it during this whole time. Joanne will work with you, and we'll work with you to build a business plan, where we say, okay, to really scale this business, we need X amount for the next year, and that amount is variable depending on what the business you're doing is. So what have we done so far in Ibtikar, UAE? Again, we start small, we fail fast or scale fast. We've had $900,000 of funding so far on 6 different ideas. And that doesn't include the salaries that we're paying the entrepreneurs. We have Where That. You met Heidi, and you'll hear a lot more about what she's doing and what she's done and how she's been successful. Same with Butte and Alexis. And then Sippy and Rafi, you'll again hear what they're doing, so I'm not going to get into those. But out of the 6 ideas we've tested, 50% of them are still going strong, which for us is a very good indicator compared to entrepreneurship globally. So far so good. We think we've been able to test a lot of different disruptive business models, data-driven personalization, which is Where That and Butte, a shoppable social network called Garmid, which didn't make it past the 2nd phase, circular fashion, so rental business, which didn't make it past the 1st phase, and then frictionless payment and loyalty and e-com and m-com now, which is Sippy, and you'll hear from him soon. And that's it. Follow us on Shalhoub Greenhouse if you haven't followed us yet. Also, there's a lot of interesting videos and content on our website, shalhoubgreenhouse.com. So please go through it as well if you want to know more. But I think I took up too much time already. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to get to the really fun part. And maybe we'll start with, who's starting from the entrepreneurs? I guess Heidi, since you've been in Ibtikar for longer, you can start. Just quickly, we're gonna, again, just to remind you, if you have questions, please put them in the conversation chat, or when we're done, we're gonna have a Q&A. So we have questions that we want to ask each other, but also if you have questions, we'd rather you turn your microphone on, turn your video on, let us meet you. Otherwise, please just write your comments or questions in the chat, and I will leave Heidi to it.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, is it big?
It is big.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I have to apologize. They're building or they're knocking down a wall. Literally, it started 10 minutes before the meeting. So if you hear like a jackhammer and drilling, I'm sorry, but I actually can't go anywhere. So please just ignore that. But to introduce myself, my name is Heidi. I am the founder of Wear That, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. I've been with the greenhouse since June 2018. I joined, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, how I wanted to help women all over Dubai and the UAE, and then eventually the whole of the Middle East, and how I wanted to transform the way that women shop for clothes. So I'll introduce a couple of our clients. This is Lizzie. Lizzie come to us because she didn't know where to start in terms of how to look. She wanted to feel good, she wanted to look amazing, but she doesn't really have that much time to shop. So she come to us to help her solve this problem. This is Anu. Anu is a client of ours who is, she's a marketing executive. Again, she loves to look fabulous. She wants to look super fashionable, but she doesn't have the time or resources to be able to go to the mall or to be able to sift through millions of products online. This is Ali. Ali is a new mum, and she come to us because she wanted to completely transform her style. She wanted to look and feel amazing, but after having a baby, she didn't know where to start. So she come to us again to solve a problem. So Wear That identified a part of the market that feels undervalued, where everyday girls, we want to look good, but we just don't know how, or we don't know where to start, or have the time to be sifting through millions of products online or in stores. So what we did was we set out to do one thing, and it was to create a luxury platform for everyday girls. So when I say that, I mean that traditionally from working in the group, we always have personal stylists that are for our VIP clients, or if you come into Max Mara and you want, you know, a beautiful coat, it'll be delivered to your door. But how could we bring that experience to everyday women that just want to look amazing? So we created Wear That, and which it's a data-driven styling platform. So again, we aim to provide everyday girls with a personalized box of clothes in order for them to feel confident and empowered and the best they can possibly look, whatever their occasion. We use real-life personal stylists and data combined to take the burden out of shopping when it comes to looking for what you want to look good in, and we deliver our girls exactly what they want direct to their door. So how it works is you come onto our website and you complete the style survey. Here we get to know you. We understand your body shape, your mood, where you're going, your sizing, how you want to look. We then use that data and we match you to a personal stylist. This is really important for us because the client and the stylist need to have a connection from the beginning. After your stylist gets your profile, she'll go through it, she'll drop your WhatsApp, and she'll start working on your box based on the information you told her. She'll go away, she'll create looks. We have two kinds of boxes. We have a full Wear That experience, which is about 10 to 12 pieces, and a mini box, which is like a top-up box. And depending what you want, she'll go away and she'll put together the pieces for you. We then deliver the box to your door, so you can be on WhatsApp with your stylist. When your box is delivered, you can be trying on the outfit. She can say, you know, put this back with these black jeans, put this back with these blue jeans, where you can try before you buy. So it's 100% risk-free for the consumer, and again, 100% driven on data. So when it comes to what makes us special and why people have, you know, kind of jumped on our startup and really come onto the brand, is that we put our customer first. We put our customer before everything. We have so much information on our clients that if we get it wrong, it's because we've missed something in the data. But we're 100% customer centric, which means that when our clients come on, we understand their moods, we understand what they love about themselves, what they dislike about themselves, so we can really adopt the right communication tool to begin with, because you have to treat clients in different ways based on different personalities, the right product based on the data points, and the right stylist who can deliver the product and the communication to the client. So everything we do is we do for our girl, and because of this and because our business model is so personalized, women talk. So our clients will talk, they'll tell their friends, and we've been able to send out over 1,500 styling boxes purely through word of mouth. So what makes us special is really we're super customer centric. We match a customer's data to a real life personal stylist using data. but this stylist then goes away and creates personalized looks. So we're solving the problem of the client, we're giving them what they want, and it's really risk-free. We put all the power into the consumer. So you tell us how much you want to spend, you tell us the colors you don't like, you tell us what styles you don't like, and we will do what you want. So the power is always with the customer in everything we do. So you can see here, this is some of our real girls. Just before COVID started, we used to do a lot of styling sessions where we'd get girls in and we'd do complete makeovers, which become a real little trend for us. But again, everything we do is customer centric. We use these girls in our campaigns. We use them as part of our Instagram. Everything we talk about in terms of communication comes somewhere from the data that our customers tell us. So I'm going to show you a video of our new campaign, which features our real girls. So we've really used our customers as the influencers for our brand. And because of that, we have shipped over 1,500 boxes. We have an average UPT of 4.5. We've had double-digit growth in terms of customer signups month on month, and we have a really high repeat customer rate at 25%. 98% of our boxes clients buy at least one thing, and since we've launched, we've managed to onboard 50 suppliers and over 200 brands, local and international. So you'll find in our boxes maybe 4 or 5 different brands, and some brands that you can't even get in the market. So one of the things that, like I was talking about in terms of what we've built and what makes us special, is the use of data and technology and how we use this now to scale and grow our business. So at the beginning, it was like Dina said, it was a testing phase. We understood what our customers liked, what they didn't like. I mean, I launched, I didn't even have a box. I just had a bag, and I think I had a sticker on the front of it. So everything was far from perfect, but now we're building a whole proprietary tech platform that actually uses the customer's data and matches it to product that we have in our inventory system to give the stylist a more efficient way of working and a more accurate way of working. So we're right in the process now of building that. But it's super interesting because with the use of data, you can improve your buying. So we know that a lot of our clients are a size 16 extra large. We know that 70% of our clients don't put any effort in, which means that we invest when we buy our own stock heavily in basics, blue jeans, white t-shirts, this kind of thing. We know the colors that they hate, so we don't buy these products. We know the prints that they love, and we know the heights and the skin tones and hair colors of our clients in order for us to match better the product that we give to our clients. So that is just a little bit of an overview of where that. I'm sure when we do the Q&A, we'll get into more of the nitty-gritty of the everyday life, but that's our startup.
Thank you, Heidi. Alexis?
Hi, guys.
Alexis, we're running a little short on time, so because I spoke too much, so
okay, we'll try and keep it as
brief. Yeah, thanks.
Let me just share my desktop. All right. Can you guys see my full screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'm Alexis. I'm the founder of UBute. And today I'm just going to talk you through, I guess, how I sort of came up with the idea, the problem that it addresses, some of the challenges that we've faced, and some of the interesting insights that we've actually had as a result of running our business for just over a year now. So UBute is an unbiased beauty stylist service for men and women. We cover 5 different categories, or 6 now actually. So makeup, skincare, hair care, fragrance, body care and like wellness and home, which is a new addition since COVID. So the problem that I basically, so the whole thing with Ibtikar is you need to identify your problem that you're trying to address for your customer, and then your solution that fits that particular problem. So the problem that I identified was the fact that customers, I think, in the beauty industry are incredibly overwhelmed. Like, you know yourself, when you go into either Faces or a Sephora or any other sort of beauty retailer, the amount of choice that is there, the brand ambassadors that come and attack you either with the fragrance bottles or the, you know, they say this is the latest launch, but they don't actually listen to what the customers need or want. On top of this, I think there's a lack of an understanding from both sides, from both the brand ambassadors and also the customers, of the functionality of the products and the benefits. And then just to add some more complexity, there's obviously some bias motives from the retailers and brand ambassadors too. So, you know, there's extra commission and margins to be made. And then all of this as well, retailers have got brand monopolies. So basically, I wanted to create a startup that disrupts all of this, to really sort of be, at the risk of throwing around a buzzword, customer-centric, but just to really sort of be able to offer an unbiased solution for our customers in a de-risked environment. So this is where UBeauty is born. So we are a data-driven, unbiased beauty matchmaker. So basically, customers tell us all about them. They answer a few questions on our website. So there's around 10 questions per category, which all turn into obviously very rich data points for us. And we then match them to the best beauty products for them. So taking away any sort of personal preference, commercial bias, we listen purely to their concerns, their goals, and their budget. We send them the full-size products, as well as little 5 ml samples to try first. So that way it de-risks their experience. They can open the sample in the comfort of their own home. They can try it on their skin. As long as they haven't opened the full-size product, they're free to return it, and then they only pay for what they keep. So again, it's a very sort of like different business model to what is currently out there on the market, but the traction that we've had has been really, really promising. So our value proposition is quite obvious. So it's an unbiased beauty stylist service. So I think there's no one that can really sort of say that, particularly in this region here. I touched on there's 10 questions per category, which will turn into really rich data points. It really de-risks the whole experience of the customer, and there's zero pressure. So you don't have someone sort of standing over your shoulder being like, do you like it? Are you going to buy it? Here's another thing that you should definitely add to your cart. So the power is completely up to them, but they know that that whole box has been specifically hand-picked for them. And it just simplifies their lives, so that the tax invoice that we also include in their in their package, also doubles as a step-by-step routine. So the order that it appears on the invoice is the order that they use it in. It also gives them some fun facts about the product, why we love that particular product, the ingredients, and then also how to use it. So it becomes their sort of their beauty mantra, basically. So how it works is the customer goes online, they answer the quiz, they pay their deposit of 100 dirhams, which then basically shows us that, okay, they're a serious customer, they do want a box. We style their box and we send it out to them. They've got a week to try the samples and then decide what they'd like to buy. And then after that, we move them into a replenishment program. So this part we haven't completely finalized yet. It's very informal. It's a case of they message us on WhatsApp once they've discovered and loved their products. But eventually, through our tech platform, like what Heidi touched on, you sort of start to layer in your different tech as you kind of go along. And so we will be having like a formal replenishment program soon that will allow the customers to set the frequency of how often they want those products sent to them, which is great because it keeps them loyal to us, but it also keeps them loyal to the products and the brands that they've discovered through our service as well. In terms of our competition, there's only, I think, very few things separate the retailers here in the region, and it's typically the brands and the products that are carried in the stores. No one is really doing service very well. So this is where we really want to sort of disrupt as, and I think this is what consumers actually really love about us as well, is that they know that it's a real person on the other end of the line. The guidance that we're giving them is coming from a truthful place. There's a couple of good examples in the US, which we've sort of like you know, we've identified. Function of Beauty is amazing. They're super great at personalization, but they've only got one brand. Ipsy is similar, but again, that's US focused. And then the rest of it, you can sort of see down the bottom, it's quite clustered. So you've got a few cross-border players as threats, but everyone else is sort of, it's just brands and products that differentiate them. So this is where we kind of want to be this perfect balance between personalization, but also a really great depth of offer. In terms of key achievements, so we've had amazing and rich customer data. So it's not a case of, okay, we think our customer's this age and they shop this frequently with us and we think she's female. We get to know them really, really intimately, which obviously then helps us in all the other facets of our business. So everything from forecasting to ordering to know which brands that we should be bringing on board, to start actually increasing our customer to product match rate, which at the moment is 60%. It's actually gone up to 62% during COVID, which is amazing. Particularly as we've scaled, I would have thought that number would have dropped as we don't know our new customers as well. We've had 30% of our customers return without a formal replenishment program. So this just shows that there is an appetite. I think that once the customers discover our service, they are like all in and they're ready for it. We've had 42 brands onboarded so far, with 39 more in the pipeline. Actually, I think it's gone up this week as well, both local and international. So we obviously want to curate the brands that are here, but we also want to bring in the brands that are not here that people are desperate to get their hands on. We've doubled the average basket value versus other beauty retailers in the market, so our average basket is just over $6.50, which is quite extraordinary. It just shows that the customers trust us once they discover our service. And then UPT is $6 per box that they keep. So we've had all of these lovely nationalities sign up. So these are actually people living in these countries have signed up for UBeauty. So they found us organically. So I think it just shows that actually this is a global problem and not just like a Middle Eastern one, which is really exciting in terms of like trying to sort of think of global expansion. We know that our customer is mainly female, no big shock there. This is obviously UAE. We're only in the UAE at the moment, but hopefully, inshallah, soon Saudi. And we know that they're between the age of 25 to 34. And the interesting part here is as well is that 94% of the people selected that they need help with skincare, which I think goes against the rest of the trends of all the other beauty retailers here. So, you know, in the region, it's very sort of makeup, fragrance dominant. But actually, there's some blue ocean here for us to sort of play in the skincare, hair care, body care category, which is fortunately my passion. So this is really exciting.
Alexis, just I think cover this one because it's super interesting. But then we need to move on to give time to people to ask questions. Okay, no cool. Problem. Sorry.
No, that's fine. No worries. So since COVID, we've had a growth of month on month of 102%, which is just completely bonkers, particularly given the fact we're a team of 3. So we have definitely faced some startup challenges, but we are loving it. And obviously our sales have grown as a result of that. And the brands that we've signed have grown too, which is really exciting. Dina, I was going to touch on this as to what sort of things we sort of, there's been some challenges. And then I'm done, I promise. So obviously you have to be prepared for anything in a startup. And I think this is, it's really it's hugely exciting as well. Being part of the Ibtikar program, you wear so many different hats. I came from just a marketing background before. So I've now been exposed to tech, I've been exposed to data, commercial, some operations, picking and packing, logistics, supply chain. So all of these things that I would never have sort of touched on before, I'm now sort of getting my hands dirty in, which I think is really sort of rewarding. There are some non-glamorous sides as well. So obviously like moving the warehousing to my spare bedroom during COVID wasn't planned, but it's important to pop in there as well. But it's really great because we also onboard all of the brands and products. So you'll never be more challenged. But you'll also never be happier as well. So I just wanted to finish on that note and then I'm done.
To finish on. Thank you so much, Alexis. And guys, before Rafi quickly talks about Sippy for a couple minutes, the reason we other than to show off about the businesses that we have at the greenhouse and in Ibtikar, we really just wanted people to see what types of ideas we're looking for, what types of people we're looking for, what it takes to be an Ibtikar. And so I think those two were, I think Alexis, you're still sharing your screen. We can see your email. That was fast. You moved on very quickly to emails. It's what you have to do when you're an entrepreneur. Anyway, so just that, I think those were great examples of what we're looking for in Ibtikar. Rafi, can you just very quickly talk about SIPI so we can move on to questions?
100%, guys. I don't have a presentation, but I have something super quick and simple to showcase. I think the point that we want to make here is about agility. So I launched my startup a little bit outside the Ibtikar program, but was lucky enough to launch it under the Ibtikar program. And it's a startup called SIPI. The initial idea behind SIPI was to create a mobile application that helps true coffee lovers find the specialty coffee shops around them and use the mobile application to actually to make those purchases in store. And in a way, we were creating a loyalty program for the independent coffee shop network around the UAE. Just because we didn't want to lock in customers within a particular brand or particular branch of coffee. But now that all the coffee shops have closed and our business is pretty much dead in the water, we had to pivot really quickly. And the way we did this, and I think this is the important bit, was leverage on our contacts and connections that we had actually built in the past 4 years and launch an e-commerce startup under the same umbrella, and it's a little bit of an MVP at the moment, called SIPI Beans. And SIPI Beans aims to actually deliver freshly roasted beans from all the local roasteries of the UAE directly to your home. Currently in the UAE, and actually we just started shipping to KSA if anybody wants to give us a try. But the idea was to continue generating revenue, put together a quick and dirty MVP, test the hypothesis that people do actually want freshly roasted coffee delivered to their home. And since February, we've been growing at about 300 to 500% month on month. So this is kind of where a situation like COVID really makes you become super agile, super creative, and with the tools that we have in today's world and under our fingertips, you can really launch startups relatively quickly, test them, and see how we can scale them. So that's really quickly from my side about SIPI and how we've pivoted. But I think it's time we open up the floor for questions from you guys. And we can do it in two facets. Would like to have them listed in the comment section, but you also have a little raise your hand action as well on your PC or a mobile phone, and you can use that one if you want to speak freely and ask us questions to all the Ibtikarians and the Greenhouse team. Yeah, so please feel free.
Yeah, please feel free. Anyone have any questions?
Burning questions. I'm sure there's some. None? Because we have our own.
Actually, I'm just having one question regarding Ibtikar. When is exactly? Yeah.
Who's speaking? Sorry, I can't see who's speaking.
This is Muhammad Shazli, operation team from KSA.
Yes. Okay, because we couldn't see. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm just actually, when exactly did that Ibtikar will launch in KSA, and why is delay?
Why it's the delay? It launched before, Muhammad, but initially, because we didn't have enough resources, we tried to do it in a way. It's been around forever, so people can actually already submit their ideas in Ibtikar KSA. But the process before was that we had a team in Saudi who wasn't dedicated to Ibtikar and the greenhouse. They were doing it as a side thing. And then the person who was in charge of that actually left too. So it wasn't a very good process. And now we're taking ownership back of the process, and we're going to really focus. And we put a budget in place.
So actually now is Lujain who is being responsible for Ibtikar, huh?
Lujain is a part of the advisory board. And as I mentioned, the advisory board will support in selecting ideas. They'll support in selecting which businesses get more funding. The greenhouse team will be the ones managing on a day-to-day basis the business, but we'll have support on the ground from the transformation team as well until we hire someone to run the business by themselves in Saudi probably next year. But with one idea only, there's no need to hire a full-time person over there, but we will have support on the ground, and Lujain is obviously one of the support. And the point of the advisory board is really not just to select ideas, but also to be kind of the people who remove roadblocks from the organization for these startups, the people who connect them to people who might be interesting for the startup, the people who mentor, and that's what Lujain's role will be, hopefully, in the future. Clear?
Okay. So the full communication for Ibtikar, that we can get the full update from Lujain. That's what you mean.
Sure, yes.
For
Lujain
now,
will have
for
an update.
KSA, for now we can the link between Ibtikar, that it will be Lujain.
No, it's with us. It's with us. You obviously can ask Lujain. She will be updated every quarter, but it's the day-to-day is with us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. How can we use augmented reality and online to compete our services for our customers? Well, I mean, that's the question we're asking you guys. You guys need to come. If you have an idea, Abdul Jawad, then please submit your idea of how we can use augmented reality. There's a lot of things that are happening now, particularly AR and VR are getting a lot of excitement now during lockdown. But yeah, we are looking for ideas in this area. So if you have ideas, please submit them. Any other questions? Of my app through EMAC. Okay, cool. So somebody will get back to you very soon.
Great. Well, I have a question for you, Dina, if that's okay.
Yes.
So I think it will be interesting to know, in general, speaking about ideas, what kind of ideas we are really looking to onboard in the Ibtikar program.
I kind of mentioned this in different times during the presentation, but we are looking for, we are interested in ideas that will create incremental growth for the organization, but we really want disruptive ideas that are new business models, like you've seen with Where That and UBU, very different to what's around, something that has a unique selling proposition, and something that will create exponential growth for the organization eventually. I think that's from the perspective of what ideas we're looking for, but also, as you saw and what they both talked about, we're looking for people who are passionate about their ideas and who are able to learn very quickly certain functions that are not what they're focused on. So Alexis was in marketing, Heidi was in buying, and now they've learned about tech, they've learned about finance, they've learned about operations, they've learned about supply chain. And we're really looking for people who have that business acumen and the ability to learn quickly and be self-reliant to build a whole business by themselves and run it. So I think those two together are what we really want in Ibtikar.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Does anybody else have a question from the audience? Don't be afraid, guys. This is the time.
I want to clarify about what we were talking about from Hamad's question. So the way it's going to work is that once we've selected an idea for now, we'll have at least weekly catch-ups virtually between the greenhouse team and whichever idea is selected. So once you start in the Ibtikar program, we'll make sure we have a program in place where you spend a lot of time with us virtually to build your business. So you're not alone. And then, of course, like, as I mentioned, there will be some help on the ground until we have a person fully dedicated to Ibtikar and Greenhouse next year.
Do you think we should move to a few more questions, or maybe speak about the next steps of the workshop?
Oh, Lujain.
This is Lujain. Hi, guys. I just wanted to jump in really quickly. and really express how proud I am to be in such an innovative employer. And really, it's a passion that I have, and finding new talent is always something that we are hungry for in KSA. So I truly believe with everything that is going on at this time that it's the right time to launch Ibtikar in KSA. So we're really excited for this.
We're so excited to have you, Lejane. I met Lejane when I came to KSA a couple months ago before the apocalypse. And immediately when I spoke to her, I saw that she was forward thinking and she would be someone that would really be able to help us in Ibtikar. And so we immediately reached out to her when we thought of the advisory board. So very excited.
I'm delighted. So let's bring this on and shift this 2020.
We have a couple more questions too. Feel free to stay, Lejane, and support with some KSA knowledge.
Sure.
How much does the group get from the startup's equity? So as I mentioned, it's between 20 to 30%. All of our ideas are unicorns, Magda. We don't take ideas we don't believe are going to be unicorns. But as I showed you, as an organization, we take on all of the risk from setting up a startup. And therefore, we take the majority of the equity. It's negotiable between the 20 and 30%, kind of. It's not a big, usually the reason it's a range is because, for example, Rafi came into and Sippy came into Ibtikar with an app he'd already built and already invested some time and money in. So that would be a reason why we would give more. Of course, this is a conversation we'll have, but we want to make it fair and consistent. Everyone, we believe everyone we bring into to Ibtikar is a unicorn, so not very negotiable is the answer. But let's talk and see what you have in mind. Shaza, as a Shalhu brand, how can we take advantage of Ibtikar? You're welcome, Magda. Well, several ways. We always are looking for mentors and people to support Ibtikarians who launch. So anyone in Saudi who wants to support Ibtikarians that launch, please do. Of course, a lot of the ideas we have tap into the brands of the organization. So when people approach you to give you brands, to ask for your brands for their startups at an early stage, don't tell them, no to a consignment, for example. Support them and give them things on consignment so they don't have to spend their funding on products they haven't been able to sell yet. They have very limited funding. So those are ways you can support. But of course, anyone excited in being involved in Ibtikar, please reach out to myself, to Rafi, to Martial, to Joanne, and we'll find a way. Speaking of Martial, where are you? We have
I'm here. I was waiting for you because there is a bit of a specific announcement, because this is also.
Before you start dropping off, can you make your great announcement, please?
So yeah, of course, the greatest announcement is that Ibtikar is coming, and that we're excited to find that big startup that we can launch through the program in KSA. And to help you with this process, we're going to run a series of workshops, which is going to start the first week of June. And so basically, it's a 3-step workshop. The first step is going to be trying to look at the strategies to generate ideas. So if you have an idea already of a solution that you would like to take to the market of a startup, or if you even don't have one, we're going to look into how to generate great ideas and proof test them. We're going to look at the problem you want to solve and the solution you want to work on. And we're going to use the lean canvas exercise to structure your ideas around your customer segment, your unique value proposition, the channels, how you generate revenue. So a first workshop to structure your idea is going to be just 1 hour, and then you have all the tools and all the knowledge to do it at home. The second stage is the prototyping, where we're going to look at what your competitors are currently doing, what is your customer journey, so how your customers interact with your products. And based on this, we're going to be able to list the key functionalities that would be your MVP, your minimum viable product. So when you want to go to the market in a lean, using the lean startup methodology Dina was referring to, you want to create the most simple version that you can take to the market. And that's kind of the idea of this second workshop, which also will last an hour. And the third workshop will be around the pitch deck. So know that you have an idea that is structured, you know what is your solution, the problem you solve, you have an initial prototype. How can we present this? So we're going to look into how to build the perfect pitch deck. And with this pitch deck, the fourth week, which will be the should be the Thursday, 25th of June. We're going to run a pitch day session. So everyone that has an idea will be able to present to our committee his idea. And obviously we'll find, hopefully, the great startup that will join Ibtikar and work with us in the greenhouse. So that's kind of what we're looking into. That was also part of the announcement. So even if you don't know if you want to work on an idea or not, this is a series of workshops that you can use even for the future. Whenever you will have a project, whenever you want to work on something new, that's a very simple and agile way to structure an idea. So we're going to send you a link to register for that series of workshops. It's going to be very light, 1 hour per session. And of course, between the session, we're always available for questions and guidance. So that's my part.
Thanks, Martial. You got the exciting part at the end, the announcement. Yes. Great. So any more burning questions? I know we went over time, but nobody has dropped off, which is like a miracle. So thank you for being so engaged and for all the excitement. Oh, is there a template for submitting ideas? Does it have to be detailed with the business model? Martial, you wanna, or Joanne, one of you guys?
I can answer. I'm fine
Sure.
with it.
Yeah.
So there is. Oh, we really like to speak at the same moment with Joanne.
It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So basically, there is initially no specific templates. We kind of like to have some people that come with already that have already been thinking about what they want to work on. So if you come to us just with an idea, we're gonna explain you what would be the good steps to take right now, so what to work on, and guide you to structure that idea.
There is sorry, Martial, but for submitting your idea, there is a thing on EMAC.
So
you go into EMAC and
so
I think that's what, and then we work with you on the. Yeah. Okay. So when you want to submit your idea, you go to EMAC. There's a section for Ibtikar. We have like a few questions, so definitely not a detailed business model in the beginning at all. We just want to understand your idea very quickly, and what it is, so that we can have a conversation if it's something we think is relevant and interesting, or we can go back and ask you to do some more research. So very quickly submit. It won't take you longer than 5 minutes to submit an idea, and then we'll work with you to build a proper, not a business model, but like a 10-page deck that you'll use for the advisory board. So again, nothing major. And I'm excited, Magda. I'm expecting your submission very soon, because it sounds like you have something cooking up. Any other questions? I thought so.
Great.
Very excited. In any case, again, as Martial said, Magda, you should definitely sign up and register for the workshop he'll be running. It will really help think through your idea. So submit it, but also register for this thing. So it will be a good way to work with you to develop that idea into like a plan. Anyone else? Can we get like a show of hands? Raise your hand if you have an idea you want to submit, or you're thinking about it, or there's something. Ooh, okay. Anyone else?
Actually, I have one more question. Sorry, this is Muhammad Chazli again.
Yes, sure.
What if this, okay, my idea been successful and it been under umbrella of Ibtikar. After that, it been like it generate more revenue to the company. However, how can I get benefit from that?
As I mentioned,
revenue.
Okay, there's several things you gain other than the financial and the fact that you own part of the business. Yeah. But the fact that you go from being a very specific in your role to leading a business in itself, I think is a reward in itself. But also as we mentioned, you get 20 to 30% ownership in the business. We still need to work on how that will work in Saudi, because I know there's legal restrictions to that. And we'll be working closely with the legal team and with the team in Saudi to figure out how we're going to do that. But that is when you have ownership in the business and you have skin in the game, if it does really well, you do really well. If it doesn't do really well, you don't do really well. So that's what equity means. And it's basically ownership in the business.
So there is a agreed percentage on the okay, like 30% is being agreeable on that
yes.
deal. Okay.
So cool. How many hands did we get? Did someone?
We had up to 4, I saw.
Oh, great.
But we need more, guys. We need more ideas.
Yeah,
Keep them
we
coming.
definitely need more. So now that you know more about the program, go back, think about it, see if there's anything. And again, like we said, register for this workshop. It'll help you think through things. Even if you're not sure about your idea, it doesn't matter. We're not here to judge. We just, it's good training as well that, like Martial said, you can take back to the way you think about your business that you're working in right now. So if there are no more questions, we don't want to keep you much longer. Do we have any other questions? Nope. Thank you so much, everyone. We really look forward to working with you all. Thanks, Carlos. Good to hear from you. You'll be hearing from us soon. So yeah, and if you have any other questions or you have any, the team now, can everyone on the team put their videos back on quickly? So Rafi, you met, Martial, Joanne. Again, you can always go back to Alexis and Heidi and ask them questions about the program without us being there, so they can be honest about their challenges and their successes.
Exactly. Keep in mind that this session is recorded, so we'll be sharing that with you, and we'll be sharing more communication on the workshops that are coming through, so you guys can register and enjoy Martial's sessions, which are always a treat.
Thank you, everyone.
To seeing you there.
Tahid, I don't know if that's how you say your name, or Tahid. Super excited to get your idea. We'll be waiting for it. Thanks, Sharbel and Aya and Rajain for supporting as well. You're still there.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be in touch soon. That's it from us.
Bye, Aya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.